What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another My Team video. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a bit croaky. I am a little sick, but anyways, I'm commentating to get another My Team video out for you guys. And if you haven't seen this series, make sure you go ahead, look in the top right corner right now. There will be the playlist for every single episode of the My Team career mode so far. And yeah, last episode, we actually scored some points, which is our second point score position of this whole entire season. We got 6 points out in Imola, and then we got another one last week in Qatar. We almost scored points in the sprint race as well with that photo finish with Piastri, but we did get it in the main race, beating out, I believe it was Alex Albon and Hulkenberg. It was one of the Hasses that we beat out, and we managed to get a point finish there, and we're looking to do that again here in Mexico. And Jack Doohan, he actually performed decent in Japan. He was a little crap in Qatar, so hopefully he can bounce back and finally be good again. And you can see, look at that racecraft and pace upgrade and focus. We've put everything into this weekend. We got a bunch of I think, what are they called? Activities or whatever, where they say, what do you want to do? Do you want to up his racecraft, up his pace, up his focus? And we've got it so that he should be on fire this weekend. So we'll find out, and it all starts with qualifying. So we want to try and out-qualify our teammate, but we know this car is capable of getting into Q2. We've seen it in Japan, we've seen it in Qatar, so let's see it again in Mexico as we go very deep into turn one. And that's a lot of time lost, but we're going to try and get a banker lap on the board as Russell does a 17.006. So that's the benchmark. If we can be in the 17s, I think that's a decent result, as Tsunoda is out of the session. There's a yellow flag at the end of the straight. There's another yellow flag, and more people crashing. Tsunoda's out of the session, and now our teammate Jack Doohan is out of the session as well. Brilliant. Anyway, we're going to finish off our lap, and we do a 17.9, so we are in the 17s, and more people are getting knocked out. What has gone on? And you can see Jack Doohan's car is pretty much in half. Tsunoda is behind him also, and I don't know exactly what went on because I was on my lap, so I couldn't have a look. And all I find out is Doohan, Perez, and is that Albon? I know, no, and Tsunoda's out. I'm not sure about Alex Albon, but yeah, there was big crashes at the end of the straight, and that's killed Jack Doohan's weekend. He's starting right at the very back. I don't know if it was his fault, if it was Tsunoda's fault. I think Tsunoda was the first one out, and I'm assuming Doohan has just gone into the back of him or something. So the whole team relies on us as we're 2 tenths up out of the first chicane, and that's huge. We knew there was a lot of time there, especially at turn one, as we go deep again, missing the apex, which is not ideal. And this is an awful section of the track. It's just constant 90 degrees turns. It's not very fun to race, and it's not very fun to watch either on in F1 in real life. But we get through that. I do like this section a little more. The S's, it adds a little bit of skill, as we did kind of mess up a line a little bit. Oh, yep, it's gone round. You could kind of tell from that first left-hander that it was all going downhill. We kind of missed the apex. We went a bit wide, and we tried to recover, and we just couldn't. We were 3 tenths up, 3.5 tenths up, and you're going to see we missed that apex a little bit. We run wide, we keep it in track limits, but by now our rhythm, our flow is gone. I think we corrected our car, and that just put us completely offline, and by then that was all she wrote. And that was a little bit frustrating as well, because with P19 we could have probably made it into Q2. I mean, we were 3 tenths away, and we were 3.5 tenths up halfway through that lap. And you can see we do have a grid penalty because we were taking one new ICE, but instead we're just going to take a new engine for everything and start at the very back because we're already starting pretty much at the back, so we might as well take new penalties. So let's get into race day.
Bienvenidos to the most populous city in North America. The legendary Jim Clark won the first official F1 race back in 1963 here, and we've had a veritable who's who of winners ever since. It's Mexico City, and therefore the Mexico City Grand Prix. At 2,285 meters above sea level, the thin air of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez poses a unique challenge, not just to a driver's skill, but to the efficiency of their engines as well. 17 corners then make a lap of... Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Albon, De Vries, Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Sargent, Perez, Gasly, Doohan, Joe, and the rookie. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
P20 for Jack Doohan, P22 for us. And there was actually an Alfa Romeo and a Haas inside the top 11, top 12, I believe. So that's not good news, considering Alfa Romeo are 2 points behind us. Haas are 3 points ahead. So we could still catch Haas, but we can't have them scoring too many points. And we also don't want to get overtaken by the Alfa Romeo team, who are just behind, but they have someone starting up there. And you can see we're going to start on the medium tyres. The only car out of everybody to be starting on the medium tyres. You've got a mixture of soft runners and hard runners. Most people on the softs trying to get a good start, and we've gone for the medium tyres. And the reason why I went for mediums is because I kind of wanted to see what the tyre wear is like, to see if maybe we should go on hards to end the Grand Prix, or if we should try and extend it a lap or two and get on the softs and try and carve our way through the field at the end of the Grand Prix. And we're ready to go. It's 5 red lights here in Mexico, and we're underway right from the back of the grid. We get a decent launch, and we get a better launch than Guan Yu Zhou on the inside as we go on that long run down the turn. What's happened? Nico Hulkenberg is out. The safety car is out. Hold on a minute. 2 people have just overtaken us under the safety car. That's outrageous. Tsunoda and Gasly have robbed us of 2 positions. I think that's a glitch on this game. That was unbelievable. Let's see what Hulkenberg does at the start. He actually gets a very good launch. He's already ahead of the Alpine, and it's a Ferrari who's had a rotter of a launch, and Hulkenberg can't react in time. I think it's a Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. On the hard tyres, it's a terrible start. Did he like anti-stall or something? He's lost like 7-8 positions and gets a nudge from behind from Hulkenberg, which kind of helps him get going. But by that point, he's down to P8, P9. And if you have a look for the McLaren behind, the McLaren just about dodges him. And you can see the other Ferrari gets a stinker of a start as well. So it's the Ferrari 1-2 has turned into a Ferrari nightmare in Mexico. And it's a safety car. It's Hulkenberg out of the Grand Prix. We're up in a P17, which I guess we will take. We thought about potentially boxing for hards, but there was no real point, because we were only 1 lap into the Grand Prix. We're back underway behind Pierre Gasly. We should be in P15 right now, but it was a glitch. I guess, that put us back down the order. And Jack Doohan's actually going to have a go at us down into turn 1. Get away! Know your place, you mug. Jack Doohan trying to take a place away from us. He goes down the inside. We give him the room, but we give him a little bit of a squeeze also to let him know that he's not coming through. And we hold on to that P17. Remember, all the cars around us are on soft tyres right now. So for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 laps, they're going to have that extra pace over us, and we're kind of going to have to wait it out, hope for their tyres to die off, and then we can pick them off one by one on the medium tyres. Let's look at that. Perez down the order as well. I think he took penalties all the way. No, he was involved in the crash, wasn't he? So that's why he's starting all the way at the back. In his home Grand Prix, Sergio Perez down the order as we made that move on Gasly down the inside. And when all the cars, bit of a moment there, when all the cars go single file, it's really easy to just make a dive bomb, gain 1, 2, maybe even 3 places sometime. I wish the AI would go side by side more, almost, you know, to make it harder for us to dive bomb them and gain positions that way. As Gasly gets back through, we're going to try and do a little bit of a switchback through the chicane. So open up the corner for us and see if we can get a good run down to turn 4, I believe. Oh, as we've run wide, there's a caution, and Sergio Perez says, see you later. So there you go. A place has been lost, and it's Lance Stroll that is coming off the track, and he's got an engine problem. I don't think a safety car is coming out, but that's another retirement. So that's 2 retirements gone. Hulkenberg and Lance Stroll. Could we be in a chance for points here? Because that's an Aston Martin and a Haas that could potentially be challenging for points. And when we're making moves like that on the Red Bull Sergio Perez, anything could happen. I didn't think in the first season we'll be overtaking a Red Bull. We're racing a Red Bull. We're beating a Red Bull. I mean, granted, he started behind us, but he got ahead of us, and now we're ahead of him again. But that's what I kind of mean by, like, single file line. It is easy to take advantage of that and make the move, but when they do go side by side, they go very slow. As you can see here, Tsunoda and Gasly side by side, and we're going to capitalize as we follow Gasly through around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda up in a P15, but it's not done yet. Tsunoda around the outside in the AlphaTauri, which is yet to score points this season. We've got on through up into P15, and look at the pack up ahead. We could score points. There's a bunch of cars in this train. We could score points in Mexico from starting dead last. P22 all the way to P10 would be some sort of drive, and probably our best drive of the season. We've already gained 7 places. Granted, a lot of that was from the start, but you got to be in the right place. You got to make the right moves to make it count. And we're behind the other Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso. That Aston Martin does not look very good this weekend, and we're kind of showing that our car's got decent pace. I mean, Jack Doohan is the last car on the track, but I think that's just Jack Doohan doing Jack Doohan things. As we look for a move around it, surely not. Hello, around the outside of Fernando Alonso, up into P14, see you later, fella. And the AI kind of made that a little easy for us. They gave us the room around the outside. If they were to just shut the door and force us off the track, fair enough. You know, he was more than half a car length ahead of us, but he gave us the room, and we got the inside for the next corner. And through we go on Fernando Alonso, a 2-time world champion we're making moves on. And if we have a decent car next year, we could be a regular point scorer and probably a decent second driver as well. I think we need to get rid of Jack Doohan. He is not doing the job. He is right at the very back, even though there's been 2 retirements. And you see a bunch of people peeling into the pit lanes. I think people pit on lap 11, and now they're pitting again on lap 12. And we are going to be leading a Grand Prix. We're leading the Mexican Grand Prix. The first time, I think, all season we're leading the Grand Prix. And we're leading it on a technicality, of course. Everybody's pit. We have not. But we're still leading a Formula 1 Grand Prix. And Hamilton is going to spoil that party very, very soon. I don't know. Are we going to complete a lap? No, we don't complete a lap. Hamilton pips us just before the line. So we haven't yet completed a full lap as the race leader. We were very, very close. It must have been like a front wing for Hamilton to get past us just before the line, but that means hardly anything. I mean, no one's going to keep count, but we did lead a Formula 1 Grand Prix, so we can take pride in that. As we're looking at getting a good pit stop, 2.4, there you go. The pit crew are on fire today. 2.4 second pit stop, no delays, no wheel gun problems, no problems putting on the tyre. We're cooking, not like F1 Manager where we seem to have a dodgy pit stop every time. We get out the pits and we find ourselves P16 ahead of Fernando Alonso. I know Alonso did have a 5-second penalty, so he would have served that in the pits, and that's helped us come out ahead of him. And our teammate Jack Doohan down in P19, doing absolutely nothing. He's ahead of Tsunoda, but that's it on those hard tyres. As what's he doing? He's going. Oh, okay. Even worse now. He's got what? I think he's got an engine problem. Yep, he has. Okay. Jack Doohan. We haven't had an engine problem yet this year, but Jack Doohan out with an engine problem. I'm surprised that we haven't had any problems with our engine. I mean, knock on wood, but we haven't. You know, if we can go the whole season with no problems, then our reliability is on fire, because I have it maxed out like high and high for reliability problems, and to not have one all year is something quite special. I think we've had 2 retirements, one being that big mistake in Monaco, and I can't actually remember the other one. Oh, I think the other one was in Spain, where we had a problem with a glitch as we go around the outside of Nick de Vries. Off the track we go. We try and avoid a penalty, but we actually played a fair game there. You see, we let de Vries pass because we did overtake him off the track, and you can either say that's fair play, or you want the DRS for the next straight because you know it's going to be an easy overtake. And I would say maybe a bit of both, because we know we're going to get the DRS, and we know now it's going to be an easy overtake. And I didn't want to overtake off the track and take it, so we gave the place back. But now we're going to get a legit overtake, as around the outside we go. And that's a very simple overtake. You know, we got the straight line speed with the DRS. We say see you later to the AlphaTauri. And you saw our straight line speed in Qatar. It wasn't good at all, but we went with a different sort of setup this Grand Prix to help us with the straight line speed. And it seems to have worked, because we've got good enough straight line speed where we can overtake with DRS. It's not as fast as the AI, but it's up there, and it's better. As we are closing in on Logan Sargent, you can see even with the slipstream and DRS, we're not quite close enough. Yes, we are actually. Down the inside, that's a dive bomb. See you later, Logan. We're through on Logan Sargent, up into P14. 4 laps to go. It's 4.5 seconds to Gasly. I think that's too big of a gap, but we could certainly close on into Alex Albon. 2.3 seconds. If we could beat both Williams drivers, that would be something. You know, we'll take a P13 any day of the week. I think our sponsor is a top 12 finish, so we kind of need someone in the top 12 to retire. But we are chasing down Alex Albon, giving you a bit of racing here at the end of the Mexican Grand Prix. The two Mercedes have currently got a 1-2, but we don't care about the top. We care about trying to get P13 away from Alex Albon. We are chasing him through this final sector, this ugly final sector in the Mexican Grand Prix. I don't like it. I don't really like the Mexican Grand Prix. But anyway, we stay close enough for the long straight where we could get that DRS. And we've got plenty of ERS, but we know the AI love to dump all their ERS on the final lap. So it's going to be difficult to find a way past. We're dumping the ERS. We're using the DRS and we're closing in very quick on the Williams, but we're not going to get close enough for turn one. We're going to try and get a very good exit out of the chicane. Look, we're almost pushing him, pushing his rear wing through these corners. We just got to stay within 3 tenths on the exit, and we do. Look at that, it's about 2.5 tenths. We could get him down into what I'm going to call turn 4. We're going to go down the inside of the Williams driver. Can we get the move done? It's late on the brakes. We show him the outside. We say, look, this is our corner, mate. We give him the elbows. See you later. P13, Alex Albon, have some of that fella up in a P13. What a move that is. And you could say it was a little bit aggressive, but you know, Max Verstappen does that all the time, so we're doing that as well. Up in a P13, we take it, but it's a day to remember for Lewis Hamilton, who takes P1, and it's a 1-2 for Mercedes with Piastri, Verstappen, and Norris finishing off the top 5, and we've just got to hold on to this P13 ahead of Albon. Bit of a moment there, which allows Albon to almost have a go at us, but we defend well, and it's very, very difficult to overtake in this final sector. It's a very tricky and technical final sector, and we hold on for a P13. It's not a points, it's not close to a points, but I'll tell you what, it's a very good drive to go from P22 on the grid to P13. And I'm happy with that. You know, points, we need more people to retire for points, or we need a really good qualifying performance where we could kind of be up there with the guys. But starting from P22, we knew points was going to be very, very difficult. But to get P13, I think showed that we had decent pace in the car. And Jack Doohan is certainly letting us down. One bad thing, though, you can see up at the very top there, Valtteri Bottas taking home a P9, Kevin Magnussen a P10. So that's 2 points for Alfa Romeo, and that's an extra point for Haas as well. So Haas are going to be on 11 points, and Alfa Romeo, I think, are only going to be a point behind us, and also Esteban Ocon beating us in the rivalry. But we're very close to the end. I think, yeah, 3 races remaining, 17 to 12. We're going to beat Ocon in that. Have some of that fella, and we actually get both sponsorships through. I think they said achieve a top 12 finish. We didn't get top 12, so I don't know what they're waffling about, but we'll take the extra money. Cheers to the sponsors. But yeah, a P13, not bad, but with Alfa Romeo scoring 2 points and Haas getting a 1 point, we're 4 points behind Haas, and we're only 1 point ahead of Alfa Romeo. So it's all to play for with 3 more races to go. We have Brazil, Vegas, and Abu Dhabi, and Brazil is another sprint race, so that could get a little bit spicy, and I love a bit of Brazil. Brazil is one of my favourite races on the game, and we've been pretty consistent the last 3 races. A P11, a P10, a P13. I feel as though we're maximising these races and getting the most out of the car, and Jack Doohan is certainly not. But if you are enjoying this series, make sure you go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll put out more My Team content, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.